Get that rolling. There we go. This one needs a spray. Multiple sprays. Here we are. I am Ray, and the truth is, the cure for depression is simple, but it can be impossible to see when you're trapped in all of this negativity. And here's the harsh truth. It's not just going to go away on its own. And if you try to just medicate and take all these pills, well, that's like getting shot in the shoulder and then putting a Band-Aid. Oh, it's okay. Everything's good. You still have to address the root of the problem, where nothing changes. It's just a temporary fix. And you may waste years suffering unnecessarily. So today I'm going to show you what I wish somebody had told me years ago. Because once you understand this, everything changes. I promise you that. I spent 7 years struggling with depression until I discovered what you will learn today. Depression became my greatest gift because it led me to my spiritual awakening. Now I live with peace, love, and joy as my natural state. So hold on to your butts, because we're breaking free from the darkness today, my friend, and returning to the light. Now I invited Mr. Jim Carrey on the show today. Hello, Jim.
Depression is your body saying, fuck you, I don't want to be this character anymore. I don't want to hold up this avatar that you've created in the world. It's too much for me. So a friend of mine who's a spiritual teacher has a really good take. His name is Jeff Foster, and his take on it is that they should change, you should think of the word of depressed as deep rest. Deep rest. Your body needs to be depressed. It needs deep rest from the character that you've been trying to play.
You see, here's the thing. We all have life within us, and that life comes from a source. And here you are with like a little umbilical cord connected to source. And your mind is like the portal from source to the outer world. It's the gateway between the inner reality and the outer reality. But your mind is like a resistance valve to a hose. It either allows the flow of life or it constricts the flow of life. And so as Jim Carrey said, well, we take on all of these different identities, all of these different masks that we wear. We say, this is who I am, this is the story of my life, this is what I think, all just ego identity. And you see, the more mind stuff we got going on in here, the more it constricts the flow of life. And when you're separated from life, guess what? You grow closer to death. What is death? Death is lethargy, no motivation, no desire to do anything. You don't want to get up out of bed. You don't want to live. It's depression. You could say you're not depressed, you're disconnected from life. One quick tip is that life can only be experienced in the present moment. So the more we get caught in our mind stuff, the more we're separated from the present moment, and the further we stray from harmony with life, and the closer we get to death. This is why people who think all the time are miserable. Now, life is also energy, and our mind is a tool that directs that life, that energy. And the mind is a pointed tool, kind of like a bow and arrow, or like a sword. It can only focus on one thing at a time, and we can direct our mind in 3 ways: in a way that's negative, in a way that's neutral, or a way that's positive. In religious terms, the word sin means to miss the mark. And what that means is that you have pointed your mind in a direction that is negative. And virtue is the opposite. You have pointed your mind in a direction that is positive. What does this mean? It means that when you point your mind in a negative direction, it causes you to lose life. It causes you to lose energy. And when you focus your mind in a way that's positive, it gives you a net gain overall of energy, of life. Now, this life that we speak of is the source of all peace, love, and joy. And so, this is why it is said, all sin leads to death. Because if you perpetually focus on negative things, negative stories, negative beliefs, negative thoughts, you will continue to hemorrhage your life until there is nothing left. And where life is not, death is. Like when you turn the light off to a room, darkness is what remains. So depression is the experience of being consumed by darkness. That is why it ends in suicide. Because you cannot live without the life force. We become possessed by the force of death and then act on it. Whether we create some great tragedy in the world, we take out our anger, our resentment, our hatred, or we just take it out on ourselves. We become a vessel for death and destruction. And all it was is that we just habitually got stuck in focusing our mind in negative directions. And if you think about it, the more we become separated from life, from peace, love, and joy, the closer we get to hell. Eternal life is heaven, and hell is suffering. So you can ask yourself right now, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being hell and 10 being heaven, where would you fit on that scale? And where you fit on that scale tells you the ratio of where you have been habitually pointing your mind, either in negative ways or positive ways. Well, buddy's working hard today. Have to get out the spray. Oh no, the darkness, it has returned. Think about in school, on a test. If you get 50 things wrong and 50 things right, that equals 50 out of 100. You fail at life, my friend. Not good. So habitually you tend to focus on average 50% of the time on things that are negative and only 50% of the time on things that are positive. And that will give you a miserable life. If you habitually focus on only 30% negative and 70% positive, congratulations. C, average. Your life won't be that good, but it's not going to be that bad. It's livable. And if you're in hell, a C is a big improvement. So on your journey, you don't even need to worry about getting an A. If you're at an F, work on getting a D, and then a C, and then a B, and then an A minus. Because you're not going to just from one day to the next suddenly be in heaven. Be patient with yourself on this journey, my friend. Continue to learn and grow. The journey is taken one step at a time. And the great news is, this is nothing more than a habit. You're not doomed. It's just, you didn't realize what you were doing. We're not born with a human user's manual. So oftentimes we fumble our life. That's part of being human. And here's the thing. Energy is also power. So what we give our attention to, what we give our energy to, that is where we give our power. You see, there's something I call the monster mind. And what it is, it's like a parasite that feeds off our energy by manipulating us to focus on negativity. Its whole game is to hijack our attention so it can steal our energy. But the monster mind has no power. You have all the power. But the monster mind is like a vampire. The only way it has any power over you is if you invite it in or if you allow it. And because you wouldn't do that consciously, now it has to deceive you. It's also like an evil fisherman. It knows the right bait just for you. It uses your trauma, it uses your attachments, and it gives you a juicy negative thought. And it says, oh, don't you want to follow this? You shouldn't be afraid, you should be worried. This bad thing could happen. And then the moment you bite it, you're hooked. You're done. And it just starts reeling you in. And you start ruminating and you start ruminating and then you spiral out of control. And so, the more you have fed the monster mind, the more powerful it is. The more powerful it is, the weaker you are. It has stolen your power. And so now your negative thoughts can control you. Your mind is automatically hijacked to focus toward negativity, which makes you feel like a slave. Because when you don't have any power, you are helpless. And this is why you feel sometimes, if you're depressed, you can't even get out of bed in the morning. Because you have no energy, you have no power. It's been perpetually been drained. And so the only thing we have to do moving forward is simply taking your power back one day at a time. As the spiritual teacher Mooji once said, you have all the power, your thoughts have no power. But you give your power away to the thoughts through your identification and belief in the thoughts. So one of the first steps, you must stand your ground. and be firm. And say 100% of the time, no. No is your new best friend. Every time you get a negative thought, the answer is no. I don't believe it. I'm not entertaining this negative thought. I don't care how real it seems. I don't care how truthful it appears to be. Because the monster mind will plant a seed of truth covered with lies to make it digestible for you. Like a little dog medication. You gotta wrap the medication in some bologna so it will eat it. Except for in this case, the medication is poison. Once you learn to say no to your negative thoughts, you'll stop allowing the fear and the worry in. Because the only reason the monster mind has any power over us is because we believe in our negative thoughts. And if you say 100% no, you don't allow the fear in, and your energy stops getting drained. But think about when you're depressed. You start to ruminate, oh, I'm so depressed. I hate my life. This sucks. I want to die. I just want to give up. Constantly ruminating on negative thoughts, diving you deeper into the one thing you're trying to avoid, suffering. You want to be free, and so you have to make a decision, my friend. Moving forward, do you want to live a better life? Do you want to be free? Because if you're not clear on this, as silly as it seems, you will continue to entertain garbage from your own mind. Because the truth is, you cannot pour gasoline onto a fire and expect it to go out. If you want a positive outcome, you do not have the luxury of continuing to feed negativity. So you stop ruminating on negative thoughts like, oh, I hate my life, I hate this, I hate that, this sucks. You pay attention to your tendency to ruminate on negativity. And then you snap out of it. Oh, wait a minute. I want to live a better life. I don't want to keep going down this road. I'm done. I'm ready for freedom. And through your awareness alone, you can stop the spiral. You can stop the train of negative thoughts from building too much momentum. Every time you become aware of your tendency to ruminate on negativity, if you create a bit of space, acknowledge that you have been doing this. It's like pulling the brakes on the train, and you keep pulling the brakes, and you keep pulling the brakes. And eventually the negative train of thoughts cannot build momentum. That is how you take your power back, step by step, day by day. Remember, you have the power to control your own mind. You don't have to believe a single thought your mind tells you. You get to choose what you want to focus on. And sometimes we automatically, unconsciously ruminate on negative things or give our attention to negative things. That's not the problem. The problem is the way we react. The problem is the way we respond to negative things in our life. Because you have the power to transmute negativity into positivity. So it's not about what happens to you. It's not about what negative thoughts arise. It's not whether or not you engage in an addiction. It's about how you choose to deal with it. Depression is not the problem. It's your relationship to the depression that is causing all the misery. Everything in life can be a burden that breaks you or builds you up, depending on your attitude. So you want to begin taking a stand for yourself, realizing that, yes, I do deserve to live better. Or at the very least, this is what I want. And it takes some courage, because there's going to be this underlying fear of, oh, but what if I try and I fail? That's a negative thought. Don't listen to it. No. And it doesn't matter if you fail. That's future. It doesn't exist. There's only right now. What is true here? So leave tomorrow's problems for tomorrow's you. You have enough to deal with today. One of the most important things when you're depressed is shrinking your sense of time to the present moment as much as you can. Don't bother with the future. Don't bother right now with the past. Just be here and focus on what's in front of you. Imagine if you're like crippled. You're learning to walk again. You're learning day by day to rehabilitate yourself. Again, be patient. Now let's deal with the problem of addiction for a moment, because addiction will certainly lead you to depression. All that addiction is, it's an attachment to a certain kind of behavior that drains your life, that drains your energy. It always makes you feel bad afterwards. But here's the thing. It's not the addiction that's the problem. Trust me, I've seen it for myself, where I was struggling with an addiction, and I would freak out afterwards and get caught in the shame and guilt spiral. But what that does, you keep throwing gasoline on the fire and making it worse. You're strengthening the attachment through your negative emotions. So the monster mind is just getting stronger and stronger. A nice buffet. The monster mind gets your energy when you indulge in the addiction, and then it gets your energy even more afterwards. You gotta stop feeding it. Again, an addiction only has power because you have given it power over time. That is why you will feel helpless against it. It has stolen your power, you have become powerless. Take your power back, one step at a time. And the best way to do this is stop beating yourself up. It's your reaction that truly messes you up. As the Buddha once said, in the parable of the two arrows, the first arrow we get hit with in life is the arrow of our negative experiences, living in a body. But the second arrow we inflict upon ourselves through the reaction to the first. The addiction will naturally cause you to lose energy. Okay, but what you do to yourself afterwards is far worse. It doesn't matter what addiction you have. I mean, maybe there's some very severe ones, but the point is, we have to find all of these different areas in life in which we can take our power back. Opportunities to stop feeding negativity. And as you take your power back, you have more energy to respond to life, to fix the problems, to heal yourself. You stop feeling so powerless. You see, the keys to the kingdom is non-reaction. Because when you don't react, you become non-attached. Let's take addiction again. You're stuck with the addiction. It's not letting you go. So the whole thing, to be free from it, you gotta be detached from it. A parasite like a leech only can steal your energy when it's got you. But if the leech is like a foot in front of you, it doesn't matter. What are you gonna do, leech? Nothing. So we have to have a kind of fundamental attitude adjustment toward addiction, toward negative thoughts, toward depression. Either we can have an attitude of negativity, of self-destruction, wallowing in our own suffering, or we can choose to use the things that we are experiencing, to take the cards that we're dealt and play them the best we can. Because your addiction, your depression, your negative thoughts can be your greatest teacher on this journey of life. Or they can destroy you. But it's up to you. You have that choice. And it's all about your attitude. This is why we make the choice to say, okay, I'm making the decision to live a better life, and I don't care how long it takes. The moment you're pointed in the right direction, you've already arrived at your destination. But if your mind is not pointed in the right direction, it doesn't matter how fast you go in life. You'll never make it anywhere. You'll drift and you'll get lost. So we orient our attention toward the light, toward a better life, like typing in the GPS. And it doesn't matter if you go 1 mile an hour. Eventually you'll make it. And the thing is, eventually you'll pick up speed. You might begin 1 mile an hour, and then 5, and then 10, and now you're going 60. You will continue to compound more positively as you go along the journey. But think about a black hole, which is a lot like depression. The closer you get to the singularity, the more you stay stuck. It takes a lot of energy to escape that gravity. But as you begin escaping it, you become more and more free. And you'll have good days and you'll have bad days. But overall, you'll be on an upward trajectory. So if you catch yourself ruminating on negative thoughts or engaging in an addiction, just slow down for a moment. Don't judge yourself. Realize that being human, making mistakes, is part of the process of growing, of learning, and the struggle can strengthen you if you let it. You see, a simple cure for depression, although not easy, love. If you set the intention to love yourself more, you will begin healing much faster. Because, well, at the end of the day, it was a lack of love that caused the problem in the first place. Caused ourselves to be traumatized, which led us to addiction, led us to believing negative things about ourselves and the world. How do we love ourselves? You speak to yourself as if you were a wounded child. You say, there, it's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. I'm here for you. I love you. It's all good. Let's do better next time. We got it. You don't need to beat yourself up like a dog. Why are you so stupid, dog? What are you doing? Be nice to yourself. Give yourself the love that you always needed, because you can't expect anyone else to give it to you. Because you only have power over yourself. And what this means is that every time you do something good, every time you do something that is positive, that gives you a little bit of relief, don't just move on. Take a moment to acknowledge yourself. Wow, you did so good today. I'm so proud of you. It doesn't matter if you made 99 mistakes in the day, everything you did was wrong. You focus on the one thing you did right. Wow, good job. You got out of bed today. I'm so proud of you. You're doing so good. Wow. You treat yourself like a human being. Whereas a lot of people, they just try to whip themselves to be better. And every time you make a mistake, you ask yourself, okay, well, what can I learn from this? Don't pull out the gasoline and just psh, but take a step back. See, what is this experience trying to teach me? And sometimes you just need to take a nap, and that's okay. But once you begin orienting your attention toward growth, you'll start to see more ways, more opportunities for growth. And you'll start to see evidence of, oh, this is the way this situation is helping me. This addiction is not actually a problem, but it's helping me to learn about myself, about my trauma. Same thing with the negative thoughts. And each little positive thing you add begins to compound until eventually, wow, I can't believe how far I've came. You break free from the darkness and enter into the light. Now, one of the most important things we must do, the foundation of our life moving forward, is movement and exercise. The thing is, when you stay still for a long time, your energy needs to go somewhere. And it's going to go in your mind, in your head. And what are thoughts? Thoughts are electrical impulses in the brain. So all of your energy is getting trapped in your mind. And so you're stuck ruminating all day. And you feel like you can't escape. So we have to get the energy flowing again. We have to ground ourselves in our body. This will dive you deeper into the present moment. And this will allow you to stop overthinking so much. It will allow you to stop ruminating. Now, it doesn't matter how much you do. Just do something. Just show up. That's the only thing that matters. And as you go along, you'll free up more energy. And you'll have a stronger desire to do more. So, sometimes, if you're stuck in bed for a week, simply getting out of bed is a win. Pay attention to your wins. And ignore your losses. Because the mind can only focus on one thing at a time. Every time you focus on what is negative, you're taking your attention away from what is good. And there's an infinite abundance of negativity and positivity everywhere all the time. So it's your choice. It's not about what you think is true. It's about what you choose to focus on. Acknowledge your wins. Write them down. Because you'll start to pay attention on all the ways you're growing. And that will give you motivation. Wow, I'm actually doing it. Things are actually changing. I've been stuck for all this time, and then you'll get excited. And then you'll keep going. And then you'll have a bad day where it feels like you lose all the progress. Oh, what is going on here? I thought it was free. These are the days that determine your success. Because life will happen in expansion and contraction phases. You'll go up and you'll go down. And the question is, how do you judge yourself on the down days? Sometimes you have a down week. If you judge yourself and continue to throw gasoline on that fire, well, previously you would have bounced here. But now because you spiraled out of control, you got to go down a little bit further. And then maybe you'll hit a rock bottom in which you can now spring forth back up. So the trick is, it's not about what happens, it's about how you react. If you have a bad day, realize that it's part of the process. That this experience is actually setting you up for something better. And on top of this, what we really want to do is take care of our body. It's the simplest, the easiest thing we can do to start becoming free. So, first thing in the morning, build the habit of going for a walk, of going outside and getting sunlight. That's all you have to do. You can do it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, doesn't matter. But it's absolutely important to get the body moving, especially first thing. And also, sunlight. Next, we want to hydrate, get some electrolytes going, drink some water. And if you can just build the foundation of your day on a good morning routine, you will see that you start becoming more and more free. You start experiencing relief. You're not struggling with depression as much. It can still be there. Just because we have a foundation to the house doesn't mean it's a house. There's more that has to be done to heal, like loving yourself more, encouraging yourself. But this becomes the foundation of our life that prevents us from going too far down. It frees up a little bit of energy, and it gives us a little bit of power. That is all we're doing. Finding these different areas of life to take our power back from our negative thoughts, using the body. And in truth, it's a process of removal. We might be doing 10 things that are constantly draining us of our energy and ruining our life. And you'll know what those things are, because you'll know deep down that you should probably stop. Think about like in a video game. I encourage you to do this. Write down as many negative things in your life as you can. In this case, we'll just use addictions as an example. So you have your worst addiction that's really ruining your life. But then you also have all of these other smaller things that are contributing. Now in a video game, you can't just go and fight the boss and expect to win. Which is why oftentimes you try to escape the addiction. You keep fighting it, and you keep losing. Because you're not strong enough yet to deal with that boss, that demon. So you have to start attacking the smaller demons. You start with the least powerful addiction. And you train. And you train and you train. You find the easiest things to let go of. So you might like to vape or something, but you don't really care about it that much. But your worst addiction might be alcohol, and you really need it. So what's the one thing that you're kind of most ready to give up? And give that thing up first. And that will free up energy, and you'll become more powerful. And then you'll have the power to deal with the next big demon. Step by step, you begin slaying demons. And at the end of it all, the final boss, now you're ready to deal with it. Now you have the power. But if you kind of just keep bashing your head against this wall, it's only going to keep you stuck in a negative place. And the thing is, once you start adding a few little positive things here and there, you change your mindset, you build a good morning routine, you gain some power. And then you start slaying the lesser demons, and then you get more powerful. And then step by step, day by day, you just keep doing it. You just keep slaying demons and dragons. And at the end of it all, wow, you've taken your power back completely. And nothing has any power over you whatsoever anymore. And this is how you step by step build momentum, break free from the darkness, and enter into the light. Just remember the most important thing. You have all the power, but you give your power away through the things you choose to focus on. I am Ray, this is my cool store. And if you feel like you're still struggling on your journey, I'll be here whenever you need. And if you'd like closer communications with me and other members of the community, join us whenever you're ready. Much peace and many blessings. And remember, just be.